I just got back from Samsung Unpacked, and there were 3 new foldables announced today. The Flip 8, the Fold 8 Ultra, and the new smaller Fold 8. And no, it's not called the Fold Wide. I took pictures with all 3 of them, and I've got video of all 3 too, and I want to give you just a quick glimpse of what I saw today, so I'll be sharing that alongside this. Let's start with the one that surprised me the most, the new Galaxy Fold, the regular one, not the Ultra. This wide one. This thing is the sweet spot. When I picked it up the first time, I was just in awe. At first, I saw the guy from Samsung holding it, and I was completely impressed. It sits right in between the Fold 8 Ultra and the Flip 8, and that positioning just works. The outer screen is 5.5 inches with a 10:6 aspect ratio and pretty thin bezels, and the inner display comes in at 7.6 inches with a 4:3 ratio, down slightly from the Ultra's 8 inches. The 4:3 shape means photos actually fill the screen properly when viewing them, and it also makes for a genuinely nice e-reader style experience too, open or closed, just because of how light it is. In fact, it's incredibly light. It's got a 4,500 mAh battery and weighs just about 201 grams. So this thing's very light, while still giving you way more screen than a Flip. I was watching people walk into the Samsung store and pick this thing right up for the first time, and you could see it on their faces. People were genuinely in awe of it. There's also something smart about timing here. Apple is expected to unveil the first foldable iPhone soon, reportedly in a similar, smaller, passport-style shape, the same shape the original Oppo Find N and the first-gen Pixel Fold used years ago before the industry moved on to the taller, I like to call remote-style shape. Samsung dropping this smaller Fold 8 right now, right before Apple shows up, it kind of feels like a deliberate move. It lets them say, we've had this shape too, guys. And we're keeping this bigger remote style as the Ultra above it. I think there should be an Ultra version of this wide version too, because of how amazing it is. It also has 2 rear cameras, a 50 megapixel primary and an ultra wide, as well as a 10 megapixel cover screen and a 10 megapixel main screen, versus the Ultra setup. Check out some of the photos I took and some of the videos I shot as well. Starting with video, the rear cameras can shoot up to 4K 60 FPS or even 8K 30 FPS, so on paper, you've actually got a solid amount of flexibility here for a foldable. However, it could do better in terms of sharpness and detail. Now, when I look at these videos, I would honestly say they look decent. For the pictures, on the rear, you're getting a 50 megapixel primary and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. I was pleasantly surprised with this shot. You can get some very nice shots with this phone. Check out the edge detection, the background blur, and the overall image quality with this one. Now mind you, these are the rear cameras. As for the front cameras, they're just like the ones on the Ultra version, and they're just 10 megapixels. So that is my gripe with these two. Now keep in mind the biggest issue with this camera is the fact that it has no telephoto. And that means that you do lose that zoom flexibility that the Ultra has. If camera performance is your top priority, the Ultra is just the better pick, hands down. I would be cautious not to give any conclusions right now because these are just preliminary tests. You need further testing to get the proper results. But for now, I say this camera can give you really nice, decent results, whether for photos and for videos. Now let's talk about the powerhouse, the Fold 8 Ultra. It's beautiful, it's premium, exactly what you'd expect from the flagship Fold. It's running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, the same chip as the S26 line, and it's slightly thinner and lighter than last year's model. The ultra-wide camera got bumped to a new 50 megapixel sensor that can shoot 8K video, sitting alongside the same 200 megapixel primary and unchanged telephoto from last year. Check out some of the photos I took and some of the videos I shot as well. Honestly, these turned out to be better than I expected. First, 4K video from the front camera in HDR. Looks pretty good to me, although this is from the same 10 megapixel camera that you have on the Galaxy Fold 8. This one's from the rear wide-angle lens, 12 megapixels, f1.7, and ISO 25. Look at the sharpness on this. The detail is crisp, the edges are clean, and there's basically no noise anywhere in the frame. The low ISO and wide aperture are doing real good work, letting in more light so the sensor doesn't have to work so hard. Now for the next picture, this one's from the front camera. 6 megapixels, f2.2, ISO 125. Notice how much softer this looks in comparison. The fine detail, hair, fabric texture is smoothed over, and if you look at the darker areas in the frame, there's noticeably more noise creeping in. That's a direct result of the ISO being 5 times higher than the real shot. So side by side, the rear camera wins clearly on every technical measure: sharpness, noise control, detail retention. Don't get me wrong, the front camera still is not bad. It's actually pretty nice, but it's a smaller sensor being pushed harder in the same lighting, and that shows up the moment you actually zoom in. All smartphone manufacturers have smaller specs for the front cameras, so that is expected. If you want the best results, always take pictures with the rear cameras. The Hinge is the real story though, and this is where the competitive gap really shows. As I was watching the Unpacked event, they talked about it. A few months back, Oppo's Find N6 basically eliminated the visible crease entirely and made Samsung look like they were behind. This year, Samsung fought back with a new titanium alloy film, as explained in the Unpacked event, behind the OLED plus a titanium backplate, and combined with a new anti-reflective coating and 3000 nits max brightness, the crease is dramatically reduced compared to last year. Charging finally got an upgrade from 25 to 45 watts, and of course 15 to 20 watts wireless, but I gotta be honest, I was a bit disappointed because the competitors like Honor and Huawei and Oppo, they're ahead of the game, and their charging speeds are even faster. Even with all of that, I do think Samsung's competitors have caught up, and in some areas they've genuinely passed them. It's hard to look at this phone and feel like Samsung is still clearly ahead the way they used to be. However, that does not mean that they're better, because Samsung has the golden goose, which is software. Samsung's software is still way better than Oppo and Honor and Huawei and the rest of them. Battery was a letdown for me on paper, and that is on paper. 5,000 milliampere hour, the biggest Samsung's ever put in a Fold, but honestly, I was hoping for more, given, for example, that the other competitors have 6,000 or 7,000 milliampere hour batteries. Samsung is positioning this pretty well though. Now remember, on paper, they engineered this 5,000 milliampere hour cell into a slim, light body without compromising the size of the phone. And they're claiming up to 27 hours of video playback before you need to top up. Plus, the new 45 watt charging is actually pretty good and can get you back up quickly. And finally, Samsung made the move to silicon carbon here too, so the chemistry is catching up, even if the raw capacity number is not. So overall, this is a beautiful, beautiful premium phone. And although this year's ultra-wide sensor comes at 50 megapixel compared to last year's 12 megapixel, Samsung says wider apertures on the ultra-wide sensor provide 34% improved brightness compared with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, do I recommend upgrading from the Galaxy Fold 7? Probably not, because this is an incremental upgrade. But do I recommend upgrading from the Galaxy Fold 6? Absolutely yes. Quick note on the Flip 8. The camera hardware is unchanged, same 50 megapixel main and 12 megapixel ultra wide as the Flip 7. Identical 10 megapixel selfie camera too. Battery still 4300 milliampere hour, so no bump. You're basically getting a faster chip and software polish, but that's just about it. If you've got a Flip 7, unlike the Galaxy Fold 8 Ultra, which has an improved sensor, in fact, for the ultra wide, I think there's no reason for you to upgrade this year. I've always had a thing for the Flip, but if only they made an ultra version of the Flip where the camera was on par with the Galaxy S series. That would have been amazing. And this sums up everything for today's video. Thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful day.